4 red lights are on. Now they're out, and we are racing. It is the Dane, Andreas Fasberg, who rockets into the lead. Cavalieri sits in second, but immediately he's coming under attack from the CRG pilot. Fabian Federer in third spot behind Cavalieri. Corberi's already up to fifth. We've lost, looks like Paolo Besencenet is in there. Mazzoli in the Mad Croc Kart also involved. Joel Johansson's going through in the Energy Kart in 6th place. It is the Dane Andreas Fasberg from the pole sitter Alberto Cavalieri. Didn't get a bad start, but it wasn't as good as the Tony Kart pilot as they come up the back straight for the first time. Federer in the slipstream pulls out and has a look at the Italian under brakes. Cavalieri tries to fight back, but that's only lost him 3 places. Out in the grass goes the Tony Kart pilot. Joel Johansson has been pushed back as well. It's absolutely chaotic on the opening laps of this race. Wow, Luca Corberi's been involved in a skirmish in about 18th position. So the driver who won the pre-final was given a 5-second penalty. They come across the line. He's actually recovered a little bit. He's in 10th place. As we return to the leaders, Alberto Cavalieri's back in 4th spot. He'll be lucky to hold on to that unless he can get up through the gears and start to chase down Fabian Federer in front of him. Getting my CRG drivers confused a little bit there. Fantastic start by the German Mike Siebeck using the Modena powered CRG. Wow, let's take a breath. Your leader from Denmark in the Tony Kart, Andreas Fasberg. Marijn Kremers, well, we spoke about him being a potential title favourite. He's in 2nd place, that's why. He's got speed and he's closing in on the Dane. Fabian Federer, European champion in this class in 2011. He's in the CRG in 3rd place. They come across the line to complete their 2nd lap here in Naples. Into turn 1. That's Federer in the CRG on screen. He'll be happy that the sun's shining because he confessed that he does not like the rain. But it's beautiful conditions here in Sarno. No chance of precipitation this afternoon as Kremers gets very close to the back of Fasberg. Will the Dutchman make a move up the inside? Indeed he does. He puts that virile art over the ripple strip. Fasberg concedes the spot. This is only the 3rd lap of the race. Still quite a way to go. 18 laps, 30 kilometres the distance. As they race up the back straight, reaching 128 k's an hour right there. Fasberg fights back. Federer watches on all the time. He's gaining on these leaders. Oh, this is sensational. Kremers again. Federer is going to get involved. Federer tries the outside. He is now up into 2nd spot. So we've got the Dutchman from the Italian. The Dane is now in position number 3. Cavalieri, who started from pole, is back in 7th position. They race down through turn 1, up through 140, 150, almost 160 k's an hour. Marijn Kremers from the Netherlands in the virile art from Eindhoven in Holland. He leads the race from Federer, Fasberg, Felicitieni, Mike Siebeck. That's him in the SRP Motorsport CRG. He's now up into position number 5. Fastest lap of the race for the Frenchman, Thomas Laurent. Down the back straight, there's Mike Siebeck chasing down the leaders. I'd suggest he's going to catch them very, very quickly. A little bit of dicing in the front 4, and the German will be right on their tail. Kremers, Federer, Fasberg, Felicitieni, who lives within walking distance of this world-famous Sarno circuit. Fasberg's closed up a little bit on the inside of Federer. As we look at a replay from a few moments ago, that was a very aggressive yet clean move from the Dutchman Kremers. Federer went with him. Fasberg had to concede the position. Up the back straight, like skeleton races on the downhill section at the Olympics. Head down behind the steering wheel. 100 miles an hour in the slipstream. That's not me exaggerating. That's not me guessing. That's directly from the Unipro GPS data telemetry systems that a lot of these karts are using here this weekend in Naples. CIK-FIA closing in on Felice Tiene. Tiene himself has just dropped off a little bit behind Fasberg. Wow, what a race we've got, and we're only a quarter of the way through. Back through the field, Joel Johansson, who was fighting for the lead on the opening laps of the race. The Energy Kart pilot from Sweden is down in 18th. Fantastic start by Francesco Iacovacci in the Danilo Rossi kart. He's come from dead last on the grid to be in position number 16 behind the Energy Course pilot from the United Arab Emirates, Sean Babington. Cavalieri now continues to plunge down through the field. The driver of the goal kart is now fighting for 11th position with guess who? Luca Corberi, who won the pre-final, remember. The Italian is in position 10 behind the Frenchman, Paolo Besencenet. Kramer's now with a lead of 0.2 of a second over Federer. Fasberg still sits there in third spot. Up the back straight, 128 k's an hour right there before hard braking. Oh, big move up the inside, but he left it a little bit too late. Federer covered him nicely in the CRG kart. Federer using the Maxter engine. Kramer's the Perilla. Fasberg, no surprises. The Tony kart is powered by the Vortex. Cavalieri, who started on pole position, he's using the Modena engine. And speaking of Modena engines, that driver in 5th place, CIK-FIA. He took Modena engine's first ever pole position on Friday afternoon in qualifying in the CRG. Fasberg on the inside of Federer. Federer blocks him, as he's entitled to do. He's leading the challenge, but all the time the Dutchman Martijn Kremers is starting to skip away. Up the inside, Fasberg is getting all over the back of the Italian. CIK-FIA is closing all the time. He's 0.1 of a second behind the battle. You can see it on the screen. He's close enough to get the slipstream. Fasberg knows it. He pulls down the inside and takes back second place from Fabian Federer. CIK-FIA, SRP Motorsport from Hanover in northern Germany, is now in 5th place as Federer fights there with Felice Tiene. It's CRG's 3rd, 4th and 5th, but it's the Birol Art leading the Tony kart. Kramer's across the line to start his 8th lap. They throw the karts sideways through turn number 1 at 140 kilometres an hour. Now it's 6th gear. It's the only part of the track where they do put the gearbox into the top ratio. 5th gear on the short back straight, 5th gear on the start finish line straight. Tiene, Federer, CIK-FIA, the two Italians leading the German. As we mentioned, Felice Tiene lives within walking distance of this Sarno circuit. It's probably safer for him to race around this track than for him to walk home, though. I'll say that with tongue in cheek. The CRG pilot, Tiene, very, very experienced. One of the top kart racing drivers in the world. Been with CRG for quite a number of years now. Leading Federer, CIK-FIA. Well, the CRGs have been fantastic in the KZ2 category, not so much in the KZ class. All these drivers in the black karts, at least, the CRG Road Rebel chassis, 32mm tubing, as Fasberg gets very close to the back of Kramer's. We've got the yellow flag out because we've lost one of the gold karts. Maxim Martinyuk, the Russian, is also tumbling down the order. Indeed, it may well be our pole sitter. Alberto Cavalieri in the gold kart. I'm trying to find him on our screen. 2 gold karts racing here, so we've got to change for the lead. It is Andreas Fasberg. The Dane takes the lead back from the Dutchman. Tiene still leads Federer and CIK-FIA. Felice Tiene in 3rd spot now. Close enough to get the slipstream of the Dutchman. Marijn Kremers just adjusts the blind on the radiator to let maximum airflow into the radiator. That's cooling that Perilla engine. Tien is in the slipstream but can't make a move into turn number 2. Pedro Hilbrand from Spain, another of the CRG pilots. So we've got CRGs in 4th, 5th and 6th spot, but now we've got one up into 2nd place. Kremers has to concede. Pedro Hilbrand is now joining the fight. Andreas Fassberg skips away a little bit up the back straight. Pedro Hilbrand, the number 321 CRG, he's joining in this battle, now moves up to 5th spot, fighting with Fabian Federer. Kremers now, who led just a few laps ago, he's now in position number 3. Felice Tien in 2nd spot. We have passed half race distance as Fassberg comes across the line. The gap last time round was 0.2 of a second. It's out to 0.5 of a second as Tiene and Kremers fight amongst themselves. Kremers is in the slipstream of the Italian. They lock up under brakes, going from 158 k's an hour down to 57 kilometres an hour in the space of just a few metres. Massive G-forces for these drivers at the Sarno circuit. Oh, we've got to change for 3rd place. Kremers has lost out as Pedro Hilbrand, the driver from Spain, who has set the fastest lap of the race, now takes 3rd behind his CRG teammate, Felice Tiene. This is a sensational race, the KZ2 final, the opening round of the 2015 European Championships from the Naples International Circuit at the foot of the volcano that is Mount Vesuvius in the background right there. Fassberg into the final corner. Remember the gap last time round was 0.5 of a second. Tiene in 2nd spot. It's out to 0.6 of a second now. Mike Sibeke back in 6th spot behind Federer. Kremers is 4th. Paolo Besensene is in 8th spot, but the driver of the race so far, Federico Pezzola, he has made up 19 positions, coming from the back of the grid to be in position number 9. The PCR card is absolutely flying. He's set fastest lap of the race as Kremers is forced to defend from Federer. The Frenchman Thomas Laurent immediately matches that time. They're getting down to qualifying pace almost. 1 minute 4.7. Plenty of LeConte tyre rubber going down on this 1,699 metre circuit here in Naples. Andreas Fassberg is your leader for TKART from Denmark. He comes across the line to start his 12th lap. There is only one Danish driver in the field, and the flag of Denmark is flying in the grandstand where they have just passed now. Head down behind the steering wheel. This is the fight for 2nd and 3rd. Up the inside, Pedro Hilbrand from Spain now into 2nd. Felice Tiene in 3rd spot now. Tries to fight back. Marijn Kremers, he's off the podium in the Birol Art as it stands with 5.5 laps remaining. The gap from your leader, Fassberg, to Hilbrand, 0.6 of a second now. With that move by the Spaniard, it may well be more as the Dane tries to skip away in the TKART. CRG's in 2nd, 3rd, 5th and 6th. Mike Sibeke from Germany, the SRP Motorsport driver. He's made up 4 places, but he can't get into the top 5, let alone the podium. With just 5 laps to go now across the line. Alessio Piccini's in 7th spot, ahead of the Frenchman Paolo Besensene. Federico Pezzola, he's hit a wall, so to speak. I don't mean literally, but he's come from the back of the grid. He's made up 19 positions, but he's stuck in that psychological wall, at least, of position number 9. He can't improve. He can't catch the Frenchman Paolo Besensene ahead of him. Luca Corberi, 10th position. That's not what the Italian would have expected after dominating the heat races yesterday. The gap from this man, your leader, Andreas Fassberg, to the Spaniard, Pedro Hiltbrand, is now 0.8 of a second. You can see the Dane working the steering wheel, grabs another gear up through the infield section. Hard braking into the final corner of the track. Drops down a gear, now up into fifth gear, 140 kilometres an hour right there. Washes off 20 k's an hour through turn one. Then it's a flat out sprint in sixth gear. These remarkable speeds here at the Sarno circuit. We have not gone this fast in European karting since the European Championship visited the famous Carroll circuit on the outskirts of Paris. Back in the day, the Formula C karts were touching 186 kilometres an hour in that 2,000 metre circuit right next to Charles de Gaulle Airport. The Euro Series doesn't visit there anymore, but this track is equally impressive and it's still super, super quick. Fassberg slams that Vortex gearbox down a few gears. Pedro Hiltbrand is catching him. The gap is now down to 0.4 of a second. Felici Tieni sits in third spot. Marijn Kremers is stuck in fourth. Paolo Besencenet from France in the Tony kart. He's driving nicely. He's in eighth position behind the other green machine of Alessio Piccini on screen right now. That's Federico Pezzola in the black and yellow PCR kart. Then we go back to Corberi. Sean Babington, he's made up 8th places. Well, the driver from the United Arab Emirates, used to racing on tracks covered with sand. The Sarno track is coated with LeConte rubber here this weekend. Super grippy. The sunshine is aiding to the grip level here. Still 0.4 of a second from your leader, Andreas Fassberg from Denmark. Hiltbrand is catching him though. Up into fifth gear, hard braking down through the paddock hairpin. Denmark is a country with strong history in world motorsport. We haven't had a Danish world champion in karting since Jan Magnussen won the world title way back in 1990 at Jesolo. But Andreas Fassberg is on track to take a European Championship win here this afternoon if he can hang on for another 2.5 laps. Pezzola comes through. That's Luca Corberi. Behind him was Sean Babington flashing through briefly. Luca Tilocca ahead of Tom Lorkowski. Unfortunately, we've lost our pole sitter while all this was going on. Bad luck for Alberto Cavalieri. He is a retirement, but he's made a lot of people stand up and take notice of his performance in the pre-final in that Gold Kart GTR 30 chassis. Fantastic speed. We'll see him in Spain for the second round of the series. Meanwhile, the gap's gone out to 0.5 of a second. Fassberg locks up everything under brakes into the hairpin. Well, the race director, Mr. Alessandro Ferrari, is readying the last lap board on the start-finish line. There is just 1.7 kilometres to go. The gap is half a second from the Dane to the Spaniard. The Danish flags are flying in the grandstand. The last lap board is out. Can he do it? Can he hang on? Marijn Kremers is back in 5th spot. The Dutchman is off the podium. Pedro Hiltbrand can't get the slipstream of the Dane. It's going to be a Tony kart on the top step of the podium with half a lap to go. The CRGs are fighting. They are in 2nd, 3rd and 4th position. Make Sibeke from Germany in 6th spot. He's lost a little bit of gap from Marijn Kremers. Up the back straight for the final time for Andreas Fassberg. Can he do it? Pedro Hiltbrand from Spain is not close enough. Probably the final passing opportunity of the race, but he's too far back. The Danish fans are absolutely ecstatic in the grandstand. One more corner to go. The checkered flag is being readied for the driver from Denmark. The winner of the opening round of the Euro Series, Andreas Fassberg. He wins it from Pedro Hiltbrand. The local